What is up, gamers? johnjoaneh here. Today in this video I'm going to be talking about some of the more common rookie mistakes that people tend to make and that you should probably avoid. There are rookie mistakes for specific maps, but I will get to that in later videos. Today I'm just going to be talking about the attack phase and the defending phase and some mistakes that you can avoid to make your overall gameplay better. So first off, in the attack phase, the most common mistake is not getting rid of the cameras, such as this camera right over here. This is extremely important to do. If you have a Twitch starting off, the Twitch can actually use his drone to cover all the cameras and destroy them before the round even begins. But if you don't, it is essential to destroy all the cameras before you actually enter the house. Because if you don't, they can see where you're coming from and they can prepare for it. Now, if you don't know where the cameras are because you're new, that's okay. But you have to communicate with your team and let them know, like, we need to get the cameras, I don't know where they are, can somebody get them? There usually are 2 for every exterior map. Sometimes there's 3 depending on the map, but that just comes with experience and map knowledge, and you'll eventually get there. The second rookie mistake, well, it's not a rookie mistake, I should say, but it's something that you should get in the habit of practicing, is when the round first starts for attackers, you're on your drones, and the point of this is to find the objective within the house. If the objective is already found, if a teammate is fast enough to find it, what you should do at this point is save your drone. Keep it outside, keep it at a spawn location, or as soon as you spawn, you can get back on your drone, lead it towards yourself, because now, by saving your drone, you actually have 2. If you look at the very bottom of my screen, you have 2 drones that you could use. Which leads me into the third mistake. Lots of people, when they're new, they think of a Call of Duty type of game, and they just want to rush in and just start killing things and start attacking. This is wrong. This is a mistake for Rainbow Six Siege. Especially like what I did here by breaking the door. If I do it here, if I start breaking a window, and there's an enemy just sitting in this corner right here, he can see me breaking this window and he can kill me instantly. It's just all about strategy at this point. So a good thing to utilize is before you actually approach the building, during the drone phase, think of where you want to enter. And actually hide yourself. Deploy your drone. Go inside. Check to see if it's safe before making your entry. And that leads me to my next point, is how to pick your entries. Now, I haven't found the objective yet, so I'm going to do that really quickly just to make a point. Okay, so that must mean it's in the basement. And there we go. And the second one is in the garage. And again, this just comes with map knowledge. If you know this map, you know there are only 3 places that the bomb could be. Either both level basements, or weight room and the room right above us, which is the pool table room, or the not the kid bedroom, yes, it is the kid bedroom, sorry, and the workshop. So that just comes with map knowledge. Anyway, so back to my previous point. Once you know where the objective is, you'll know how to plan your entry. Now, the most common mistake at this point is, you know, since the objective is right here, people will often come to the garage or to the nearest point of entry to get to the objective. That can be a mistake. If you're good enough at the game, maybe you can pull it off, but it also can be a mistake that can get you killed very quickly. The best way to approach is actually by taking the entry point that is furthest away from the objective. In this case, it would be this window right there, which is the workshop. And the best form of entry for any window is to actually just get in the corner, hit it really quickly, go down, hit it a couple times, just to break it off so that you're moving around, you're not exposing yourself, because on the window it's very easy to get killed. So by moving around like this, you give yourself a chance to trick your opponents into where you are. Once you do that, you can quickly kind of hide yourself as best as you can, and then throw your drone in there. Take a quick look around, see if it's safe. And often, in a room such as this, you want to check the hallways too, because they could be creeping around the hallway, waiting to hear you enter, because you do make lots of noise when you enter, and it can be heard very effectively. So, we made sure it's all clear, now it's time to enter. Which leads me to my next mistake. As soon as you enter, what most people will do is they will walk or they will run. At this point here, because I'm pretty far away from the objective, it's okay to walk. I would not run. Running makes a lot of noise, and you can be heard even from right below us. They can hear you stomping, walking around, running. So it's always good to, at the very least, crouch. Crouching makes your walking softer. You don't get hurt as much. You don't lose too much speed. And you can still kind of maneuver around. I would not walk. Walking is extremely slow, and you should only use it when you're getting extremely close to an enemy, to an objective. When you're up there and you're trying to get from upstairs to downstairs, crouching is fine. When you're trying to get from this level to the objective, here is where I would walk. And slowly kind of peek like this. So this is your first point of entry. You want to peek here and slowly move. And you want to cover this area first before turning your attention to this open door. Another rookie mistake to consider is try to be very attentive of the teams. And when I say that, I mean be sure to keep track of how many opponents are left. A lot of the times what I'll see is 2v1 where your teammate is actually in a firefight with the last opponent at the objective room, and there will be one rookie still scanning the halls to make sure he's not being followed, still walking slowly to make sure, you know, he can get the last kill, and then all of a sudden the round is over because your teammate already won and killed the last guy. So always be aware of how many people there are left, because you can easily get in there, help your teammate by flanking the opponent and getting a kill yourself. So another thing to be careful of, as soon as the drone phase is over and you guys are ready to start pushing up, spawn peeking is a thing, and if you rush up really quickly without checking, you can easily get sniped and die. Or at the very least, get weakened. You start off with 100 health, you get hit, and now you have 50. So it's really good to just take things slow, kind of peek a little bit. Go to the more common spawn peeking locations. If you don't have the luxury to peek, you can also use your drone. Your drone checks the most common windows for peekers, and the bathroom would also be considered one if you could figure out a way to see that. Yeah. So always be attentive of the fact that you can get spawn peeked really early on. Now, I talked about crouching. I talked about running, just standard walking and like slow walking. The last thing is proning. Like this, laying down on the floor. As an attacker, you do not want to do this, because when you prone, your speed is greatly reduced, and they can see you coming. As a defender, they're camping, they're looking at cracks in the window. I'm going to show you really quickly a common place for a defender to peek. Do you see how he can peek through the floorboards? This is extremely detrimental if you're proning, trying to also do the same thing. Because you proning,
bomb has been located.
Your shoulders will be moving in the way, and he will be able to see you coming. So all he has to do is line up the shot, wait for your head to appear, and get you. So proning isn't your friend when you're attacking. Stick to your crouching if you need to, which you will need to. Now, the last rookie mistake that I want to talk about is the timer. People will often get really scared when the timer is about to run out and they still haven't killed everybody. So the suspenseful music kind of convinces you to try to rush in there and plant the bomb. By rushing in, you're actually doing what the defending team is expecting of you. When the timer starts reaching 15 seconds, they're anticipating you to rush in, and that's how you're gonna die. So if it's 1v1 and 15 seconds left, I would personally take it slow. As slow as you can. I have seen people get the winning kill at 1 second. Just because they took their time, did things slowly, traced their sight along the wall, and gotten the kill. And in the last 5 seconds, if you were able to get in the room slowly and quietly and find that there's nobody here, at the very last second, if you have within 5 seconds left, you can still plant the diffuser. And although planting the diffuser takes a little time, the timer will actually wait for you. The round will not be over until after you plant the diffuser. And then, at that point, the timer is gone and it's solely reliant on the diffuser's timer. If the defending team is able to destroy the diffuser before its timer runs out. And I could easily say the same thing about the timer to a defending player. Sometimes what a defending player will do is get really anxious for the timer. And he'll just he'll be camping here kind of waiting, and as soon as it hits 15 seconds, he's like, oh, I gotta watch for him, I gotta make this kill. Well, when you do that, when you just hop out, he could be all the way up there aiming down at you and have no idea where you are until you pop your head up. Well, you just popped your head up, he killed you, and now you guys lose. So the timer is a really dangerous thing. It builds up adrenaline like you wouldn't believe. For defenders, you want to just get that kill. For attackers, you want to plant as soon as possible. So I would recommend for defenders, just stay where you are. Stay alive until you hear that typing sound. Believe me, you can hear that as a defender, and as soon as you hear that, you'll even know which objective he's planting on. You'll hear it, like, all the way from this room. You will hear someone planting in A or B, and that gives you perfect opportunity to sneak up. To sneak up and get that kill. Even if he plants it, as long as you're sneaking up and you're not making too much noise and alerting him of your presence, if you sneak up, get that kill, even after he's already gotten up, you can still kill him. And then at that point, you can destroy the diffuser with lots of time to spare. Okay, now to talk about some of the mistakes that someone can make while they are defending. Especially for bombs, you can make a ton of mistakes. Mostly when it comes to reinforcements. Oftentimes, this is probably the best example, is rooms that are side by side to each other. Often what people will do is actually try to reinforce this wall.
10 seconds left.
That is a mistake. You want this wall to be as exposed as possible, as well as
Surveillance on bombs.
the
Op 4 has
opposite
the
wall
diffuser.
exposed as possible. You want full transparency. I obviously could have just went like this. That gives much better transparency, I think. That's what impact grenades are for. You want full transparency between each bomb site so that you can tell what is going on. It's really bad to put a reinforcement right about here while you're in this room camping, making sure no one's trying to get to bomb A. They're already planting right here in this corner and you have no idea. The other thing that I see lots of people doing, and you might not believe me, and you might say that I don't need to go over this, but I have seen a lot of people do this, where they will actually, on the top floor, reinforce this hatch. There is quite literally no reason to reinforce this hatch, because the hatch drops down. Nobody's gonna approach you from an upwards trajectory. And in fact, you want these hatches blown. In some cases. You see, if I'm kind of in a fight with somebody here, and he has the advantage, and a couple of his friends are coming up these stairs, it's a good escape to just drop down really quickly, find a different strategy, such as going up this way and flanking them from behind. So drop downs can be very useful, and it is to your advantage to break them if you are on a top floor. Another mistake I see people doing quite often, especially when they are solo queuing in a match, is they will look at the cameras and they will start scanning for enemies, and they will do this constantly, trying to ping them. Early on in the match, this is not a good thing to do, because you alert them and remind them of the cameras that they need to destroy, and you limit your visibility of the playing area if it comes down to like 1v1 and you really need an important camera and it's gone because you had alerted them before. Another thing to keep in mind when you're on the cameras is not to stay on one camera for too long, because when you're on a camera it actually flickers red, and it's extremely noticeable to the opposing team when somebody is watching on a camera, and that alerts them also. So I would say no more than 2 seconds just to get an idea of what you're going with, and switch your cameras. Another rookie mistake that you can do while defending is camping in the same spot for too long. If I'm camping over here, for instance, and I'm having a battle with somebody right ahead of me, he knows where I am, and he's going to try to exploit every advantage that the game offers him to try to snipe me without me knowing. So it's always good to move around. He knows where you are, try a different location. Go from this window. Hit this window really quickly just to throw him off guard. And then you can go back and kill him. While we're on the topic of camping, another rookie mistake is camping in one room for the entire match. If you camp in a room and they drone you out, you're stuck. Because as soon as you walk out, there'll be somebody waiting for you. So it's always good to keep moving around. If you get droned out, try your best to destroy the drone, and immediately change locations to like the opposite area. And by opposite area, I don't mean opposite area within the same room. I mean completely different rooms. Because by doing that, you kind of throw them off guard. You let them enter a room where they think you are, and you can actually just sneak up behind them and kind of kill them. Now here's the thing when you're playing Rainbow Six Siege. A lot of the times you can have a gun battle with somebody, get really close to dying, and at the last second win. When that happens, your adrenaline is pumping through the roof. As soon as you kill somebody, you need to leave from wherever you are, like, immediately. Because as soon as he died, he alerted everybody on his team, or at least you need to assume he did, of your location. So now, you need to assume that everybody on that team knows where you are. And I guess this also applies for attackers as well. As soon as you kill someone, you need to run away from where you are. Just go somewhere completely different. Throw them off the scent, as it were. Okay guys, that's about all of the tips I can give you. If you're a seasoned player, obviously this video was not meant for you. This is meant for rookies, people who are just starting off, just to get the edge when they're playing. Because lots of people playing Rainbow Six Siege are coming from games like Call of Duty, Battlefield, where it's just point, shoot. This one is not that simple. It requires a lot of strategy, a lot of thinking, so this is kind of to help you avoid the simplest rookie mistakes that you should not be doing, and by simply avoiding these, you can go from a noob all the way to an intermediate in like 2 games. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, there are rookie mistakes that are map specific, typically on the defender side of things. So I will be releasing map specific videos later on. For now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you even just a little bit of insight to get you thinking differently about how the game works and different things that you can do to make your gameplay much better. Thank you for joining me, guys, and I will see you next time.